Welcome, everyone. Yeah, it's so nice to see you all. I invite everyone just to get settled in, get comfortable, just to deeply relax. Relax into the felt sense of being. Yes. And so I invite you all simply to notice the most essential aspect of your nature. Being a human being is a very complicated ordeal. We get carried away in so many different directions, lost chasing this thing and that thing, or fighting with this or that, or try to ignore or avoid, this person or that person. I can remember when I was quite young, my good friend and I, it was our second summer job. So we had our main summer job, and then we had a second job on top of that. We were saving money for college or something, and my friend told me, he said, Craig, we were landscaping, and he got us this job, and it was for, his grandparents, HOA or something. And he said, Craig, let's drive the truck over here behind these hills, and we'll just hang out and go to sleep and not work. And I thought, this is a really crazy idea. But there was just this sense of him of, we were young, and, his ego was wanting to be avoidant. I had the opposite ego. Mine was the pleaser. So I wanted to make sure I was being a good worker bee, and he was wanting to avoid work at all costs and have, let laziness take over his consciousness. And it seemed like it caused me more stress to try to hide while we were working than it would be just to actually, put the pitchfork in the mulch and spread the mulch around. But this is the silly thing of being human. A lot of humans like to play games of hiding or avoiding, or having these false little wars. Like, I'm not going to do that. It's not my job description. Or, how dare you ask me to do this or that? And, people can lose their minds over such silliness. But no one really trains us in just simply how to be, how to connect to our fundamental essence. And this is one of the great things that the Buddha taught. And I liked, this most simple teaching of just turning awareness upon itself. Just noticing what you are, feeling what you are. Oftentimes I call this falling in love with what you are. And the reason I like to teach in this way of falling in love with oneself, it's like when we fall in love with someone, we become attached to them it's like our awareness is always on them. We're always thinking about them, feeling in them. And this is what I encourage you to do about yourself, to feel into your nature, to fall in love with that which is good, that which is divine. Sometimes people practice bhakti, like a bhakti yoga where they're singing these great hymns to God and worshiping God, chanting the name of God. But a more subtle form of bhakti is just gently turning inward again and again and again, and feeling, acknowledging this silent essence which is actually okay. What my teacher used to say to me often is, he said, Craig, can you find something here that's okay? And then he would say, despite the pain, despite the egoic struggle, despite all the thoughts or the difficulty you have with your nervous system and your body. And so when we look inward, we want to look deep. Most people, they just look inward, they look shallow. They see their mind, they find their mind. And they say, I don't like this. I'm going to go distract. And often that's an unconscious thought of, I don't like this. I'm going to distract. I'm going to run. I'm going to busy myself. And so if you feel into being just like your basic essence, you will notice there is something here. Something here that is awake and aware right now. You know, I could not make you unawake. Nothing can make you unawake. You are awake right here, right now. There is something hearing the sound of my voice. If you turn around and just look at what that is, this divine intelligence, this quiet presence of awareness, you see, it's so simple, so gentle, it's already free. Right here, right now. Needs no improvement. And so can you look deep, despite your thinking mind, despite your ego, despite the aches and pains in the body? Can you look directly in and just notice there's something here that's beyond the planner, the commentator, the worker bee? Right here, right now. And so I'm going to invite you all just to gently close your eyes. And notice that there's something here that is awake and aware. And it witnesses the silent, radiant darkness when you close your eyes. The silent, radiant darkness when you close your eyes. Who is it that's here right now? That's witnessing this radiant darkness. Can you give yourself permission to dive deeply into this witness? To have no problem, even if just for a moment. To have no problem. And be here. Recognize that there's no difference between the radiant darkness and you. That this radiant darkness is the space of awareness. It is this quiet, empty beingness. And so I invite you to see you, to relax into you, to feel, to experience the spaciousness of this darkness. You notice that awareness has no beginning and no end. Can you notice that it's timeless? It's eternal, what you are, what life is. Will you join me in the recognition of the timeless now? Give yourself permission to let all the problems just fall away, put them down. The same way when you leave the office, we just put it all down. Go home, step into a new world. It's quiet, eternal, radiant reality. And some of you are being a little too serious in this moment, and so it's hard to step fully into this present moment when we are busy being serious. So I invite you to take some deep breaths, relax, smile at life a little bit. Give yourself permission to allow your shoulders to drop, your heart, your chest, in a sense to come, to shine open. Some of you meditate with your shoulders a little bit hunched forward, like in a guarded way. That's what the ego does, is it guards, it creates armor. So just allow your heart to open, so your shoulders are dropping and then gently going back a little bit. Your heart coming forward. Like you're giving yourself permission to be open-hearted. Open-hearted. One of the natural qualities of awareness. It's not simply spacious and empty nowness. This is part of it. But there's this luminous, heartfelt, compassionate radiance. And so if you find yourself being at all serious, it's good just to gently smile. Have a Buddha smile. Breathing and opening and just knowing, for this hour, there's nothing you are required to worry about, or think about, or fight with, or plan, or figure out. In a real sense, I invite you to allow your ego to have a vacation, to have a break. So we're breathing deeply and giving ourselves full permission to relax, to let go. I invite you to relax the muscles in your face, your jaw, the back of the skull where the skull meets the spine, the upper neck, the sides of the neck. the shoulders, the chest. Just breathing in, breathing out. I invite you even to smile a little bit if you notice how serious the ego is, or how guarded, or how armored it is. In the most innocent way. Just inviting, this egoic armor, these egoic soldiers, to put down their arms, to relax. Go lay on the beach. Nothing you need to do. Nowhere to go. So we're relaxing the chest, the heart, the rib cage, the front of the ribs, the sides, the back, behind the heart. If you're sitting in a chair, just allowing your spine to melt, be held. Be held up by life. Breathing in and breathing out. Letting go in the solar plexus. A lot of times there can be great resistance in the solar plexus. Relaxing there. Relaxing all those major muscles of the belly. Upper belly, mid belly, lower belly. Lower back, the sacrum. The pelvis, the pelvic floor. The inner thighs is also a great place where people hold tension, especially trauma. Just relaxing the inner thighs, the quads, hamstrings. Down to the calves and the feet. Inviting everything to wake up. If you can, I invite you just to feel the radiance of your feet, of your legs. There's all sorts of chakra centers down here. But you live in utter silence. Utter silence. So we're giving ourselves permission to wake up throughout our being. And for some of you who are sensitive, you may feel this very wonderful just flow of bliss. Almost like coming up from the heels, the hamstrings, the pelvis, the lower belly. Oh, so much is possible when you give yourself permission to be awake and relaxed, like our energetic body just turns into this divine temple. When we are relaxed, you can also create your own personal hell world. If you choose to think about painful things that you have no control over, all the things you did wrong. And so we're giving ourselves permission just to relax, be fully open fully open. And for some of you, you need to relax that throat chakra there and join me in coming down into the body fully. Some of you have found yourself a little too concerned with your thinking mind, and so the antidote to this is to feel in the body. Feel the felt sense of aliveness. And there may be pain in the body, that's okay. But I invite you to notice there is space. There's space here for whatever it is that we may struggle with. There's space for aches and pains. There's space for a broken heart. There's space for painful emotions. There's room for everything. But in the beginning here, I'm inviting you to simply direct awareness upon itself, from head to toe and beyond. Just noticing what you are. This quiet, gentle, alive, luminous presence. We are feeling this. Smiling. Again, opening to this current of bliss flowing through the body, especially in the feet, the legs, the hamstrings, into the pelvis, the lower back, the most humble of places. Sometimes the greatest peace we discover is in the most humble aspects of ourselves. So breathing in and breathing out. Just acknowledging this radiance. For some of you, you may feel a band of light around your forehead. Brilliant light waking up in you. This is your true nature. Your true nature is dynamic. You first start to wake up to it. It feels like being an angel. Like a divine superhero. This band of light around the forehead. These channels of bliss waking up in the feet, the legs. The 7 chakra centers, the spine. But you must relax. This is the price you have to pay to get to know what you are, is to relax. It's a very fair deal. You relax. You discover something incredible. So yes. Breathing in and breathing out. You may notice this light starting to wake up more fully in the space of the third eye. You feel as if a cool breeze is floating through the space of your mind. So yes, breathing in and breathing out. Just let this breeze flow through you and empty your mind, empty your consciousness. Even erase everything which is unnecessary. And so for some of you, I invite you to trust, to let go. For many of you, there's a feeling of being centered, like egoically centered in your head. That comes with a subtle tension, sometimes a not so subtle tension. The grip of the ego lives there, and I invite you just to relax that a little. Relax it completely if you can. Give yourself permission to be a nobody, a divine nobody. Notice the freedom that comes when you let go of your personality, or the rebel, or the worker bee, or the spiritual character, or the seeker, or whatever it is. So you're giving yourself permission to be empty, to be centerless. So I invite you just to take a couple deep breaths there. Who am I without my attachment to my mind? Who am I? And I give myself permission to be a nobody instead of a big fat somebody. The ego it can be big and fat. And so we're letting ourselves just be a nobody. Feel this freedom. And for those of you who are sensitive, you may notice the Divine Mother has joined us and is starting to fill our nobodiness, our emptiness with light. Greater luminosity. Like life is waking up to itself in you, as you. Again, the price for admission is your attachment to your mind, your thoughts, your character, the human character, the personality, and the same way you surrender into sleep at night. I invite you to surrender into emptiness, into this silence, to allow the silence to be filled with light. Very quiet, yet brilliant light. So yes, we're just breathing in and breathing out. By feeling the rise and the fall of the belly. Experiencing this luminosity that you are. And surrendering. And you surrender deeply. And feel the immensity of what's here. It takes your breath away. So yes, breathing in and breathing out. Waking up, lighting up. Making sure that throat chakra is open and relaxed so this grace can descend into the heart, the belly, the pelvis, to join with this bliss from below, to join with this bliss in the legs. Giving yourself permission, deeply, profoundly surrender. This great mystery that you are. So breathing in, breathing out. Just scanning the body. Is there anywhere that is tight, that is tense, or numb, or dead? Are you awake in the front, the back, the sides, the top, the bottom? 360 every direction. Oftentimes we have these blind spots, dead spots, or numb spots. You are meant to be an angel, a lighthouse, not a dumping ground for pain. So we're breathing in and breathing out, feeling this innate goodness, and just noticing if there's anywhere in your consciousness that's fighting, that's struggling, that's lacking love. Let's include that aspect of you. If there's anywhere that needs more love, let's include this part of you. For this light is eternally compassionate, courageously embraces pain, sadness or heartache, tension, unconsciousness. Yes, breathing in, breathing out. Fully acknowledging the quietude of your essence, the luminosity of your beingness. Gentle innocence, awake aliveness that you are. And from this space of innocence, just allowing yourself to be flooded with light, with love, brilliance, and compassion. Breathing in, breathing out. Again, for some of you, I encourage you to be less serious. The more serious we are, the more tight and constricted we become. Our chakras start to close down. I invite you to be silently joyful. In order to do this, we cannot meditate in our mind. We must rediscover the beauty, the goodness of our heart, our being, our presence, which is innocent, carefree, tender. This requires that we deeply relax. Breathing in, breathing out. Falling in love. The silence, the spaciousness, the brilliance that you are. And welcoming this grace from above. The crown chakra is fully open, fully receptive. Welcoming this heavenly light and grace into our being. Divine Mother, come into me. Open my heart. Relax my body. Show me a greater peace, a greater light, a greater love. Help me to let go of any seriousness or skepticism, or harshness or criticism, fight or struggle or tension. I give it all back to you. Show me a greater way to live, so that I may be a fit servant of your light, of your love, of your peace, and your happiness and joy here on planet Earth. So yes, deep, full breaths. Deeply relaxing the body. Giving yourself permission to be childlike and humble. Absolutely open. For some of you, you may notice a great intensity in the space of the mind, the third eye. That's okay, just relax there. Sometimes the Divine Mother can be quite intense with her transformational light. Open and receive. Sometimes this light can really stir up the darkness. Lots of thoughts or old pain or memories. That's okay, just let it come and let it go. Simply coming forward. To be blessed, to be healed, to be freed. The true light of liberation is quite intense. So the Divine Mother is asking you to be strong, courageous, open-hearted. Deep, full belly breaths, allowing this brilliance to deepen within you. We are open, receptive. We're getting to know what we are. Beyond mind, beyond emotion and ego, beyond personality. Resting as a divine nobody, empty, free, yet awake, aware, vibrant, luminous, brilliant. Joyous. For this light that you are is joyous. Silently happy, despite our lives, despite the ego, despite the trauma and the pain. There's something here that you are, which is innately joyous. You to breathe in and breathe out and surrender. Surrender to this radiance and this goodness. That you are. Divine Mother, may you greatly bless each and every one present. Fill their hearts with the Most High, your highest love, the highest compassion. Heal their bodies. Empty their minds. Infinitely bless them all. And so I invite you all to open your hearts to receive this blessing, this light that radiate throughout your being, throughout your body, touching all the places that still struggle or hold on or fight or resist, inviting ourselves to be fully held. And with that, I invite you to open your hearts and to see this light coming down through you, shining out. Your friends, your family, your co-workers, your community, to the Sangha, your brothers and sisters here on planet Earth, blessing them all. We all need more light, more love, more joy. See this joy spreading out over the planet. Blessing all beings. Blessing the entirety of the earth. Providing a greater healing, greater integration, greater love and joy. And so when you're ready, you can just gently open your eyes. Just gently smiling. Just seeing the goodness, the innocence, the divinity of your fellow Sangha members. And, for those of you who have dogs and cats in the room, or maybe a child curled up on your bed, just seeing the goodness of life everywhere. For those of you who are alone or who are outside, just feeling the bigness of the sky, the gentle love of the planet. Just noticing this fundamental truth that life is good. Is good. Despite our egos and all the silliness that goes through our minds. As we start to wake up more and more, we see this innate goodness everywhere. And this is the purpose of meditation, to wake up to this joy, this goodness, to see it in the eyes of our fellow human beings, to see it, the trees and the wind and the sky. It's this type of realization that will change life here on planet Earth. If we see each other with harshness and judgmentalism, or from the perspective of the commentator, life becomes nasty. Before I started this meditation, I was watching the final game of the Stanley Cup, and it's in Boston right now. And as the opposing team, the St. Louis Blues, were on the ice and they were announcing the players who are incredibly gifted players. The audience was booing them, and it just broke my heart, because everyone who's on that ice is deeply gifted. To be in the Stanley Cup, you must be a deeply gifted athlete. And it would be nice to see a world where we're celebrating each other. And of course, it's fun, to have a game and to have a good fight and a struggle just for the sake of, competition. But, I invite you. I don't see, we'll see what that says. Is it football? No, it's hockey. It's hockey. And so, I invite you, to see life through the lens of your heart, through the love of your heart. The whole world begins to change. We begin to see what Christ said. Begin to see the kingdom of heaven is here. All about the earth. It'd be nice if the second part of it wasn't, and yet no man seeth. It'd be nice if it was, and everyone sees it. This is the world we're growing into, a world where we're all waking up together. But it requires first and foremost that you see your goodness, your beauty, your truth. We have to let go of the commentator, the judge, the critic, and come into this childlike innocence and see and be and actually enjoy this world, respect this world, love this world. So anyways, so much love to you all. And may you all have a good night. And those of you in Australia, good morning. And I'll see you again on Sunday, or I'll see you next week. May peace be with you all. Good night.